So what if I told you that your body does something every night that is profound and will give you such a crazy advantage in life, not only through business or relationships, but just performing and feeling well overall? Well, it does, and that thing is called REM sleep. Now, not enough, I should say, of people in this world get enough of it. Matter of fact, 1 in 3 people are actually sleep deprived, so I know they're not getting enough of it. And not only that, I know more than that are not getting good quality sleep because they have awful habits. So in this video, I'm going to break down the stages of sleep, how REM sleep is so effective, how to improve your REM sleep, and things you can do to track on how well it is going. So first things first, what are the stages of sleep? Well, there are 4 main stages of sleep. Number 1 is going to be light sleep. So this is pretty much transitional phase. You're still kind of awake, but you're still on the verge of falling asleep. This one is the one that people have the most trouble with because this is when you'll have racing thoughts and stuff like this if you do not control your stress, aka cortisol, throughout the day. So if you do daily like meditation and stuff, this is what helps this stage. So stage 2, this is when you are asleep but not in deep sleep. You're kind of just there, and this is kind of almost when your body will hear things and dream of them. You can still have dreams, just not super vivid. So light sleep number 2 comes after the first stage, and then after that stage is when stuff gets good. So stage 3 and 4 are what is considered restorative stages. So first stage of restorative is deep. So deep sleep is all physical for the most part. This is when you have a broken bone, it'll repair it. When you work out, those tendons and tissues and muscles all get repaired. And not only that, if you have good deep sleep and consistently have good sleep, the amount of injuries that you're going to have overall are going to be great, and you're going to be less sick overall. So having a good amount of deep sleep is great for overall physical being. And our sleep, humans typically like to prioritize this overall. We kind of developed this way because in our ancestral days, we didn't get enough good sleep. So the things that we needed to do required energy. And guess what? That's what deep sleep does. It gives us energy. So our bodies have come to the point of prioritizing it over REM sleep with restorative. So your body cycles through 6 stages roughly through sleep, and each of those can be 70 to 110 minutes. Those first 2 to 3 stages are going to be majority deep sleep. So after those 2 to 3 stages, our restorative sleep gets more prioritized towards REM. This is kind of where we need to be because we've evolved to the point where we don't have to be scared of predators or anything. So we have REM sleep. So now that we have gotten to the point of REM sleep, what is it? So REM sleep is all mental restorativeness. So think about it like when you have stress or emotions or specific things throughout the day. REM sleep allows you to process those and disconnect the emotion from the actual physical environment. This is done from the prefrontal cortex, a thing right here, and then the amygdala. It's a little bit farther back in your brain. The prefrontal cortex is logic thinking, and the amygdala is all emotional thinking. So when you have good quality REM sleep, you can disconnect the emotion from the actual situation. And REM sleep is also good for just having, if you have trauma, you can kind of alleviate the trauma a lot because you can separate that emotion from it. But the main thing that we're worried about is the information consolidation that happens during REM sleep. So during REM sleep, you consolidate information. So I'm going to try to make this as easy as possible to understand. So when you go throughout your day-to-day life, you watch videos, you read books, you talk to people. When you do those things, you get these things I'm going to call information clusters. So these are a bunch of little dots that just kind of come there. They just pop up when you talk to people and do things. So these go into short-term memory. If you don't get enough good REM sleep, your short-term memory isn't as big. You actually lose 40% of it on average. So if you have good sleep, you can get more short-term memory, meaning that you can learn more things in one day. But to actually turn these into long-term memories, you need to have REM sleep the following night. So not only does REM sleep help your short term, but it also turns the short term into long term. Think about this like putting files in a filing cabinet. It turns these all into long term. So what happens when they're long term? Well, you can start connecting dots. So boom, 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 boom. Now this can also happen in short term memory, but overall, majority happens over time. It's kind of something that creeps up. It's called a hunch thought. You kind of just have these happen. So when they turn into long term, you can start connecting dots. And you can do this in REM sleep, but you can do activities throughout the day to day. We'll get into that here in a moment. So REM sleep consolidates information, regulates your emotions, and just makes you feel great overall mentally. If you don't get good REM sleep, you also can't process your emotions, which can lead to depression and excessive anxiety. And unfortunately, excessive anxiety can also lead to bad sleep, so it becomes a really bad snowball. So just getting longer sleep is like the main thing. But as I said, we also need to figure out how to kind of retrieve these and make connections throughout the day. So throughout the day, you need to do specific things to slow down your stress, as I'm going to say. So you can do this through meditation, breath work, just kind of doing stuff that lowers your cortisol levels. That's stress. That is the chemical that is related to stress. So throughout the day, you need to lower this to actually have more REM sleep. Okay, but we have more REM sleep. Now, how can we actually retrieve this long-term memory? Well, you can do that by having more REM sleep and you'll wake up with profound thoughts. I actually keep a notebook on the side of my bed for this reason, but we can do this throughout the day. This is done through just walking, or people, I'm sure you have had this, a shower thought. This is when your brain goes into chaos mode and it just makes these random connections from all these information clusters. You have a bajillion of these because you've gone your whole life and gained information. So when you have these specific times of your day where you just let your brain run wild and connect these random dots, you'll have thoughts that you didn't know that you had in there, but you did because you finally connected two dots that have never been connected before. These specific times in your day are fabulous because these are what allow you to make very interesting thoughts. And not only that, if you carve out time in your day to do these more and you work a lot, if you just lower a little bit of that work to get more of these thoughts, you can work less because you will be working smarter. So this is one of the biggest levers going into information age, especially if you are a person who is a knowledge worker or is an entrepreneurial and works extremely long hours. You need to do this more. You need to get more REM sleep. You need to prioritize these specific habits. Now, you can also improve your REM by specific habits, nighttime specifically, and morning time. So dropping lights. Lighting is the biggest factor. This all stems back from the circadian rhythm. So lighting, you need to dim at night, or you can just use a sleep mask, which is what I personally do, going to bed. Now, this works phenomenally, and I also use sleep spray and a mouth guard and all this other stuff, but mainly you want to dim the lights and kind of signal to your mind, hey, I'm getting ready for bed. Waking up in the morning, I'm sure you've heard this a lot, sunlight. This pretty much will give your brain the window, okay, here's the time that we go to bed, and here's the time that we wake up. Once you start doing that and giving your brain that set time frame, your brain will be like, okay, we need to get these many cycles in this amount of time. So it'll learn, and you need at least 7 hours to get enough cycles for these to run. Like I said, deep sleep is prioritized at the beginning of restorative or those cycles, and REM sleep is prioritized on the later cycles. So the longer you sleep, the more cycles you'll have, and those later cycles have REM sleep. So if you want to try any specific habits, in the description I have my free software and data sheet that you can use to measure your subjective data. You fill this out every morning and then you can put it into the software, and it will give you insights into what habits are working and what habits are not working, and then a little bit of insight in if you're having REM sleep or deep sleep. It is phenomenal and it is completely free. Additionally, if you want to learn a bit more about the circadian rhythm, Click the video on screen. I go in depth on the circadian rhythm and how to properly use it. You can combine this to what I just told you and you will become unstoppable. So thank you for watching this video, and I will see you tomorrow.